Hey Siri, what time is sunset?
Sunset will be at 4:17 p.m. today.
Hey everyone. So I'm down at the banks of Lake Washington and I had this idea this afternoon that I haven't shot a long exposure image for ages and I don't think I've ever done a video of one. So the conditions today are very unusual for this part of the world. As you can see, blue skies, it's about 55 degrees. I don't need this big jacket on. I'll take it off in a minute. And it's calm. There's not a breath of wind. It's so unusual for this time of year. I mean, the water is so still that I don't think I might even not need an ND filter. I bought two with me. I bought a 6-stop and a 10-stop. And we'll see how that works out later on when the light gets a little bit more conducive. I want to wait until the sun sets on the horizon there, so I've got another half an hour or so to wait and just enjoy this really beautiful, peaceful little park that's only about 5 minutes from home. So I've wandered up and down this really small beach, there it is, for about 10 minutes looking for what I think is the best composition. I think I've found one, but I considered a couple of other ones and I want to show you those ones first and also why I chose this other one instead. So this first composition here, I love the log going into the water. I think that looks great. It's a nice sort of leading line, but I couldn't really get anywhere where I thought that it looked good. There's some leaves down here in the foreground and that kind of makes a nice composition with the foreground interest in the leaves, but the log just dominates, and even if I go further back, it just didn't work for me. Too much on the right hand side of the frame. So I really like the leaves though. I wanted to include them in the shot, so I came over to this piece of wood sticking out here. The best angle to shoot it was over here, but again, that log kind of sticking out on the right hand side doesn't work for me. It's just too distracting. I love the color of it, but I just didn't think it would work. So what I'm going to shoot, I think, is something like this, where we have a pretty clean image. We've got some foreground interest in the leaves and the stick in the water, which is kind of interesting arch shape, and then the beautiful water, the calm water. Now, I'm probably going to shoot this before sunset because I like the leaves catching the sunlight. I think that looks good. It just makes some really interesting foreground interest. Once the sun goes down, I'm going to lose all of that, and this image I don't think will work. So I'm going to get my tripod really low to the ground and set up this image. So I'm focusing on the foreground. I want that to be nice and sharp. It's a great feature of the R5 there, is this little green triangle. It tells you when you've got that part of the image in focus. So I've got my Lee 6-stopper filter on the front, ND filter. I'm at 1.3, 1 1/3 seconds I should say, f11, focus on the foreground, and I'm going to take this shot now because we're losing the sun very quickly here. Done. So I had my 16 to 35 lens on, and I was shooting at about, what was I shooting at? About 30, 32 mil for that shot there. Anything wider, I would have got some of that trunk in, and I didn't want that. But the sun's setting now, and isn't that just spectacular? Gorgeous. So my second shot is really the shot I had in mind when I was sitting on the couch this afternoon, and I've got my 6-stop ND filter on like I had with the first one, and I've come a little bit higher this time, and I'm going to use that big tree that I didn't think worked in the first shot. I'm going to use it in this one here as a leading line going into the lake. And I'll show you what it looks like. Again, I kind of even don't need the ND filter actually, but I'm gonna put it on just because that's what I said I would do. So you can see it's there's the tree going into the lake as a leading line. I wish it was sort of pointing towards something a bit more interesting than the blue void, but that's what we've got to work with today. I've got my tripod a lot higher than I had it before. I thought about getting up on top of this log thing here, but I don't trust myself. So I've got my composition set up already. There it is there. I've got it so the log is coming out of the bottom of the frame as opposed to one of the edges as best I could. And we've got 6 seconds at f11, ISO 100, and shooting at about 30 mil or something like that. So I'm going to take this shot and see how it comes out. But I think it should be a nice, still, serene image that has a nice sort of calming effect. That's the beauty of a long exposure. Alright, well I think I'm going to call it a day. Short video today, but hope you enjoyed it. And if you haven't done any long exposure photography, I thoroughly recommend it. I don't do enough of it, but it's quite pleasant, especially when there's not much happening in the sky. And ooh, there's just some bald eagles over there. Here they come. Wish I had my long lens on. Oh well, you can hear them. So as I was saying, if you're new to long exposure photography, it's quite fun. It's gives a nice, something different. It works well, I think, if there's a bit more clouds in the sky. You don't need anything too dramatic. Anything where there's a bit of movement. But on an evening like this evening, it just creates a really nice, still, serene image, which is nice. So anyway, thanks so much for just looking at the birds. They're all flying around now. I don't know what that is, sort of seagull. Thanks for watching again. Thank you, appreciate it. Leave a comment, give me a thumbs up, and I will see you on the next one of these very soon. Bye for now.